Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Edward Lewis, filling in for Charlie Cotton. Joining me today is Scarlett Sanchez, the senior researcher and one of the only people who is here before 6 a.m. like me. Scarlett, how are you today? How's your new year?
It was good. Yeah, rang in the new year in St. Louis, Missouri, and now we're here. So, how was yours?
It was good. It was good. A lot of big stories to talk about. Obviously, big New Year's Eve weekend. A lot of people kissing. A lot of people talking about kissing. I think, in fact, all three of our stories today are people kissing on New Year's. We'll talk about Cardi B and who she was kissing. We'll talk about Taylor Swift and who she was kissing. And we'll talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and who she was kissing. So we'll start with Cardi B. Obviously, huge news in December. She broke up with Offset. Big deal. I know it's a split that's been long coming, but in December she really railed on him and was like, he's terrible to me, bad person. Well, they've been kind of off and on. Maybe you can explain it better, Scarlett. Tell me what's going on with Cardi B and Offset now.
Well, yeah. So last month, I guess it's been now, they said they were breaking up. Now, this couple's been on and off, though, for years. Back in 2020, they briefly separated, too. She even said that she was going to file for divorce and everything, didn't go through with that. And then earlier in the year, they also said they were going to split, ended up getting back together again. So now the most recent one is she said she was going to drop all dead weight going into the new year. But then now in Miami, they were celebrating the new year together at a strip club.
So yeah, they were in Miami together for appearances, is my understanding.
They both had work.
Offset had a concert at a club, and she had a similar thing at a club. And so it was easy for them to go to another club later in the evening and party the night away. After all the splitting in December, and I mean, this video that she made bashing Offset was bad. Like, she was accusing him of some terrible things and taking advantage of her. And so anyways, they were spotted, getting cozy all night long. And I think she admitted afterward that they had hooked up, but she is still claiming they're not together. So Cardi, in revealing that she had slept with Offset, she actually had a quote that I think we have to read here. She said, "Was I clubbing with my baby daddy? Yes. Did I get dick down on New Year's Eve? Yes. I needed dick on New Year's Eve," she said. "I feel like we were vibing on New Year's Eve. We had a good time."
This is not surprising. I feel like this is how Cardi gives us a lot of details sometimes, which is why people love and maybe hate sometimes. But and then she also went off on all of her fans to leave her alone, just drop it, stop speculating if we're together or not. But I'm going to speculate. I feel like they're back together or they never broke up to begin with.
Well, what is the incentive, I guess, to keep this ruse up?
Well, the last time they did this, they dropped that song "Jealousy" together.
So that's
everybody
what
listened to
we're
that.
kind of thinking that maybe this is for clicks or something. Why is she so adamant that I'm not with Offset, yet she appears to clearly be with Offset?
Well, maybe he did something to her too, and then she's trying to split. But at the end of the day, they have kids together. They've been on and off for years. I think that's probably her person, but maybe she doesn't want to accept it.
Exes are tough, though. I mean, especially if you run into them on nights like these. You know what I mean? Like, this is obviously a romantic evening, and if you find an ex out there, it's like, how do you not kind of reconvene and reminisce and in that kind of moment?
And even though they tend to have quote-unquote bad breakups, they always have great reunions.
Great makeups.
So I wasn't surprised to see them together in years.
As a connoisseur of toxic relationships, I kind of understand this. The ones that are always the most toxic is the ones that are the most easy to get back into. And like you said, they have kids and clearly a lot of chemistry. I don't know. Where do you think this goes from here? I guess, do we see this keep going and they keep up this ruse or what
I think they'll keep it up for this month, but they'll be back together by the end of the month.
And now I know we talked about, like, why would they be kind of keeping this off and on? What is the ruse? What is the game here? A lot of speculation on social media is that it's related to Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj just recently released her new album, and it's getting a lot of attention. And obviously Nicki and Cardi have a little similar styles and a little similar rivalry going. And the the online speculation is that she is perhaps doing all this with Offset and you know, making these videos like this to perhaps draw the attention away from that album and kind of put it back on her.
Right. And yeah, kind of what we were saying about how it's sort of a PR publicity stunt and all of that. I thought it was maybe because they were going to drop a new song, but it makes sense to take the attention from someone else and bring it towards you. So more people are clicking on her own music rather than one of her rivals, Nicki Minaj.
And then, you know, more along the lines of the Ruse, you know, they spent Christmas together. They were wrapping presents with their kids. A couple days later, they were seen in New York. I mean, they have been hanging out so much. And the fact that now it's New Year's Eve, it's Christmas, I mean, that's significant.
They're hanging out too much to be a broken couple.
Exactly.
Broken up couple.
Two people who are clearly together, moving on to the next story, is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. These people have become inseparable. It was only September where we were like debating, like, are they even a thing? And now here we are in January 3rd, and they are more so close than ever. So I'll set this up. Taylor Swift obviously flew to Kansas City to watch the Chiefs game, watch her boyfriend Travis Kelce play in the Chiefs game. They finally won a game. They were
okay. So the curse is broken.
Yeah. Kelce was okay. You know,
you're the sports guy.
Not the world's greatest, but anyways, afterwards they obviously celebrated New Year's together. They were seen at a party. Taylor was in a glitzy dress.
Mm-hmm.
Travis looked like Travis. And there's video of them smooching. And it's kind of a big deal now because Twitter is speculating that did he say I love you during the smooch?
Which is very hard to tell, I think, with the video. Her head sort of covers his lips, but is it too soon to say I love you?
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, like in July, Travis Kelce shot his shot at her, right? And it was just a short time after that they became together.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime in July, August, they started becoming a thing. And September, we saw them out for the first time, and now it's, you know, obviously December 31st is this potential I love you. So how many months is that? 4 months, 5 months?
Yeah.
Of dating, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is that too early?
I don't think so. And with how much time they're spending too, like you're saying, she's traveling. He went to Argentina to go see her in concert too. Their families have now all met. So they spent Christmas together and then with her parents and then his dad and then also her brother, Austin. So they're definitely moving quickly. And she's spending some time in KC too, in his new $6 million mansion.
That's the craziest part about this too. Like you get in a relationship with people and like how often do you see these people? Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like like living in LA, if you're dating somebody, you're probably seeing them once or twice a week or whatever. It seems like these people are just never not with each other.
Well, I think it depends on our work schedules and everything too, which,
yeah,
she goes to all of his games. He tries to see her in concert. But then when she goes back on tour come February 7th, I feel like they're trying to get in as much hangouts as they possibly can before she goes on tour again.
Right. But let's say like you didn't have work. I guess you would just hang out with your significant other every single day.
I mean, some people need some space.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't. So anyway, so to that point, they spent New Year's Eve together. Obviously, they're in the video and they're kissing.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, they were spotted in his Rolls Royce, kind of touring the town. You know, and they did look a little sleepy, a little tired, which suggests they had a long night. You know, so
which makes sense for New Year's.
This feels like it's headed towards marriage. I just don't.
I think so too. I think they'll be engaged by the end of this year.
To be this hot and heavy, this long. Doing this kind of thing, you know, these New Year's Eve parties where they're around all their family members and reportedly when they were spotted in the Rolls Royce on Monday on New Year's Day, they were headed towards his mom,
right.
Kelce's mom. Like you're hanging out with mom on New Year's, you know, and traveling to Kansas City. It just feels like there's only one way this can end, and it's going to be an engagement or marriage.
Yeah, their relationship status is very clear.
So to our final story, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She also had a New Year's Eve kiss. It was with her husband, Ryan. If you're not familiar with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, this is one of the most wild stories ever. Her mother was accused of kind of making up illnesses for her and kind of using her and abusing her and just terrorizing her throughout her youth. And at some point, Gypsy Rose was accused of getting fed up with it and having her boyfriend, her then boyfriend at the time, murder her mother.
Yeah.
She allegedly confessed to it and she was convicted. Well, she just gets out of prison a couple days ago.
Right.
She was actually supposed to see Taylor Swift this weekend in some regards. She's a big Kansas City fan.
She was going to go to the game.
She was going to go to the Chiefs
Wanted to
game.
meet Taylor.
She was going to try to meet Taylor, try to see Taylor from her seat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Well, her parole wouldn't let her. She had to go home. So she spent her New Year's Eve at home. Well, we were able to get some exclusive video of her from her party. And it seems like she was able to have a wonderful New Year's despite not being able to hang out with Taylor Swift. Take a look.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year! Yeah, we did it!
So really sweet moment. She's been in prison for a long, long time. Feels a little weird because she is connected to a murder.
Right. That's how I was feeling about it.
It's very difficult to, compartmentalize what she's been through and which, ultimately somebody lost their life because of her. But at the same time, I mean, it was a very, very horrible life she had to endure at the hands of her mother. So regardless, that was her with Ryan. And it seemed like a very romantic New Year's Eve for her.
Yeah, it did. And also she was there with her dad and also her stepmom. She said that now she kind of has the family that she'd always been wanting. So I guess they are now finding some happiness into the new year. She also has a Lifetime series. People are wondering, she's now become sort of a local celebrity now. So people are wondering what she's going to be doing next. So she has this Lifetime series coming out where we'll follow more about her life and her time in prison.
Yeah, and this whole party, I mean, it was apparently a pretty big party, like you mentioned. The family was all there. Her dad, Rod Blanchard, was there. Her stepmom was there. We reported that they were grilling steaks, and it's, again, like we talked about, the compartmentalization of it all. But you got to admit, this woman spent the last decade in prison and is now able to have a New Year's party where she's eating steak and able to be with her husband and be with this family, like you said, that she had always wanted. It's a powerful story. It's hard to put into words how unique this whole situation is. That this person was accused of murder and now people are applauding and praising
and excited to see what she does next. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting, unique situation, but.
And again, it's so big that they're turning it into a Lifetime series, like you said. It's if people want to see it on TV, and they want to hear what's going on with her life. I'm blown away by it. I don't know how to describe it.
And like you said in the beginning too, all these couples that we talked about were kissing. What do we feel about the New Year's Eve kiss? Is it overrated or? Is it important?
There's a lot of anxiety that goes into that for me. Because it feels like everybody, you have to have one going into the new year, or it kind of feels a little weird. What do you think about it? These people apparently think it's a huge deal, and I think it's a big deal.
I mean, if you're with your person, then yeah, it's nice, I think, to spend that, but. The whole finding a random person, I don't know, hasn't really been my cup of tea.
Would you judge people who did?
No, I don't judge it.
Oh, okay.
It's fun to have a New Year's kiss. I feel like that episode of Friends too. I always think of when they all just kiss the friend group.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that show, but yeah. But no. So that's New Year's in general. How was your New Year's Eve? Did you do anything fun? I'm not going to ask you to kiss and tell if you did, but how is it all for you? You went back home for a little bit.
Yes, I went home, spent the time with family, which I typically do, which I guess is why maybe I don't always go seeking that New Year's Eve kiss.
It's kind of hard to find that.
But yeah, no, it was a good time. Went and saw some friends from back at home and got to spend time with my sister and her fiance. So it was nice. Yours was okay?
Mine was very good. We had a big bash. And even though it was Sunday night, waking up for TMZ this early in the morning on Tuesday was...
I know, readjusting, getting back into the groove for the new year.
Yeah, a little bit tough. Well, that'll do it. I'm glad you had a good New Year's Eve. I'm glad I had a good New Year's Eve. I'm glad all these people that we talked about had a great New Year's Eve as well. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
See you tomorrow.